Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back in with another cryptocurrency video. Today I'm going to be doing a review analysis and price prediction on SushiSwap and its Sushi token. Now, this is one of the cryptos that is very controversial right now, and we're going to get it a little bit into that. For those who don't know, very brief explanation on SushiSwap. It is one of the most recent DeFi protocols and projects that's seen tremendous amount of success in a very short amount of time. And what ended up happening is, within several days of the project really taking off at the peak, right around $10.31 in price, the founder, Chef Nomi, which we're going to talk about a bit, ended up basically panic selling and cashing out of the project, selling around $14 million worth of ETH, and basically, running with the money, or so it seemed like. Now, a lot has happened in between then and that, and we're going to talk about those things because despite the damage that caused, it did open up what I think could be an opportunity as far as the lower price is concerned. And I should mention that I am not invested in SushiSwap. Only time I took a position was yesterday around $3, and I ended up pretty much selling right away just because I didn't like the price action for not really much of a loss or a gain. But as of right now, I don't hold any positions. I may enter back in, but I am being careful because, like I mentioned, a lot of people lost money here. Some probably made a lot of money, but also a lot of people lost money on this crypto. And, it could very well happen again, right? So the sort of controversy has been set, the damage has been done. Now things can be repaired, and the price is starting to increase again. But I think that there's really a chance that we go back to the all-time highs here around $10 plus, and really that we get back to or I should say above a $1 billion market cap, right? I still think that this project can succeed and has several of the factors it needs to actually make a full recovery and even do better than it ever has before. Now, like I said, please keep in mind that there is risk involved with this project due to what's happened. The situation reminds me a lot of Nano or Rayblox back in the day, if you remember that. And I'm going to start pointing out some statistics that I find bullish about SushiSwap, on top of the fact that it's just been getting a lot of press. If you go to a lot of these crypto websites, you're going to see SushiSwap being talked about, everything that's happened with the Sushi token. And that's bullish in my opinion, because despite the fact that it got, a lot of bad media towards it, any publicity is good publicity in a sense where it's kept the project, in the spotlight and alive instead of it just crashing and dying out. So I think that's a good thing. Also, take a look at this 24-hour volume. Volume on SushiSwap has always been very high, but if we look at it here, you're going to see $600 million in volume in the past 24 hours versus its market cap at around 276 million. So the volume is way higher. Obviously, considering the circumstances, this should be expected, but I want you to take a look at other coins out there in the crypto market and their volume, right? We don't really see volume like that up until near the 15th to 10th spot in market cap usually, and SushiSwap is all the way down here at the 61st spot. So it has tremendous volume considering its smaller size in the crypto space, or I should say at least based on its market cap, because as a project it's pretty significant. In fact, if we go ahead and look at the protocol analytics here for SushiSwap, you're going to see that since it withdrew from Uniswap, right, you can see the migration here. Uniswap lost a full over $1 billion in liquidity, whereas, and also look at that volume drop off here in Uniswap. If we take a look at the SushiSwap protocol analytics, you can see first off, that jump in volume after the jump in liquidity after the migration. So that was over $1 billion. It's massive. It's one of the biggest decentralized finance projects right now. And, I'm not going to get into exactly the details on decentralized finance. That's for another video. But basically, imagine it like a big bank or a big banking system that's fully decentralized, right? That's sort of a very simplified way of viewing it. Of course, there's many more complexities, but basically, right, the more money that is in the project, the more liquidity gives you a good idea of, the project's worth. So right now, if there's $1 billion in liquidity, the project should really be worth at least $1 billion, right? That's kind of how it works. There has to be some type of ratio that makes sense there. And right now, that's not the case at all, right? We have $1.38 billion in liquidity in the protocol, but we only have $276 million in market cap. That's why I said I think that we could see a very fast increase back to $1 billion in market cap, and the price would follow with that, going back to $10 plus. And on top of that, what's even more impressive is after this migration here, we had a little dip, but now we're back even at a previous, new high, I should say, as far as the liquidity. So 1.3 billion, the liquidity is even increasing now, right? So it's starting to uptrend again. And also take a look at that volume here in the last 24 hours. It looks like we had $162 million in volume, at least what's put in right now, comparison to Uniswap around 244 million. So SushiSwap is taking a lot of Uniswap's market share. And on top of that, I also wanted to say that with SushiSwap, right, why is it so much better in a way than Uniswap? Really, one of the big factors is that you can actually take a stake in the whole project, right? You can buy SushiSwap, you can take part into the fees of the project and be able to get paid from staking and farming in that sense, right? Which, you can't do that in the same way with Uniswap. It doesn't have a token that's accessible to everyone like Sushi does. And how Sushi is being traded. So that's one of the big differentiating factors. Now, let's also look into the founder here and talk a little bit about what happened. So basically, just a very brief rundown. After the cashing out by Chef Nomi here, he also transferred the keys to Sam Bankman-Fried, right? That is the CEO of FTX Exchange. And what he did, he seemed to manage it fairly well. Now, I know a lot of people are not happy about what happened. I do understand that. I'm very sorry if you lost money or whatnot with these moves, but it is what it is, right? Like I said, I mean, crypto is a very crazy space with a lot of unexpected things that can happen. That's why you always need to stay really safe, do your own due diligence, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. So really make sure to trade and invest at your own risk. But basically, when Chef Nomi gave over the keys, right, to SBF Alameda, Sam Bankman-Fried, CEO of FTX, the CEO of FTX, Sam, decided to sort of decentralize the whole thing, right? Give out a multi-sig wallet so that the power was split amongst several people, and that's a great thing, right? They're moving towards really getting this completely community focused and driven, right? That way there's no major central entity or single person like Chef Nomi that can do anything crazy, but that the project can now, in a decentralized fashion, move forward and collaborate. The community can collaborate and improve SushiSwap altogether without, a repeat of what happened with Chef Nomi here. So obviously that's moving in the right direction. They migrated from Uniswap. That was also one of the key things to happen. And now, just in the last few hours alone, this was actually just coincidental with me making this video, but Chef Nomi pulled another unexpected move where he returned all of the $14 million worth of ETH back to the treasury, right? And, he will let the community decide how much he deserves as the original creator of SushiSwap. Now, what I find super interesting with this move is, some people were happy with it. Some people were, still mad about the whole situation. And that seems to just be, something that might continue with SushiSwap, regardless of how you feel about it. There's people who love Chef Nomi and what happened, and people who hate it. But what's interesting is the fact that, of course, this isn't going to cover for the losses that were created by his move. But as far as the project is concerned, it furthers, my sort of thesis that the project will succeed here and that it's going to stay one of the more successful decentralized finance projects that'll continue to grow in the coming months and even years, right? Like I said, this being at a $276 million market cap is extremely low, and this should really be moving on towards 1 billion plus in market cap right now as we speak, in my opinion. Now, keep that in mind, right? We could still see some pretty crazy ups and downs, and moves are probably going to be pretty volatile and pretty extreme in either direction here. But everything that we're seeing, from the migration to the multi-sig wallet to moving more towards community-based things, and the return out of that ETH to the treasury, are really furthering the chances of the SushiSwap project succeeding, and hence the price also recovering fully and even increasing to new all-time highs. Chef Nomi fully apologized. He is not part of the project anymore directly. He can still help with the project, but he doesn't have any control or governance over it, which I think is good. But basically, right now we're moving on to a betterly governed SushiSwap with, a lot more safety behind how it's being run. And this will always be a stain, right, that's going to be on the SushiSwap project. I also wanted to point out here on this tweet, Chef Nomi's sort of apology and explanation for what happened, right? He said that he was emotional, greedy, and afraid, and that he made some bad, controversial decisions under pressure right after the project growing so fast. He didn't really know what to do, and he's very sorry that he hurt everyone by taking sort of a rash decision. Now, we'll never know what exactly Chef Nomi went through and was thinking, what his intentions were, but I do think, and I feel fairly confident in saying that I don't really think he had a malicious intent. I do mostly believe his story does line up, despite the fact that initially it really did seem like he just pulled an exit scam on everyone, right? Which led to a lot of people thinking that the project was just one big scam and that Chef Nomi was a scammer. Now that we got some more details on what happened and we saw him, give over the address, also return the $14 million in ETH, I saw someone mention this, and I think this pretty much sums it up. Why would a scammer, right, stay in the project or stay anywhere near the public eye, right? Why would he not just disappear like most other people do in crypto in this type of circumstance after some type of exit scam? You see them disappear, never to return again. Chef Nomi is, staying low key, but he is staying there. He is still the figure that he was during this whole thing, and that speaks volumes, right? That he didn't just disappear into thin air after he pulled that move. And also, very briefly, just as far as the price is concerned, right? Like I said, I fully expect this to go back up to $10 pretty easily here. Really, once we're above $3, which is a big resistance level, maybe $3 and 20 to 40 cents for a final confirmation, it's pretty much off to the races after that. There's really not that much resistance, right? We have this downtrend line that we had, and really, we just have a few resistance levels before we'll be back to the all-time highs, right? Mainly $5 being one of them, around $8, and after that, of course, it's that $10 level, which is that big round number. After that, really, it's all-time highs plus without too much problem. So really, there's not that much resistance. As soon as we get back above $3, $3.20, the whole price will start picking up again, I believe, and will very quickly recover based on the liquidity, if it stays as is at least. But as you can see, right, by the statistics, it seems like it's recovering fairly well, and I think the price is going to follow. So that gives you a pretty good idea here of, sort of the overview of all these different things that happen, but also the opportunity that it provides. In fact, if you take here, there's some people in the comments that were talking about the PE ratio of SushiSwap, but I find even more interesting is a tweet here by John Lilick, and this is the PS ratio, right? The price, and in regards to staking ratio compared to other coins, and it's absolutely impressive, right? In comparison to other decentralized finance projects that have PS ratios, all the way up into the thousands, but typically, in between, let's say, 150 to 20 times. It seems to be pretty common here. SushiSwap, which is one of the biggest, keep that in mind once again, is at a PS ratio of 1.6. If you compare that to IDEX, for example, which you mentioned, that has a 49 times ratio. So, you can also compare this with the volume to market cap. SushiSwap being the highest at 186%. That is what I mentioned to all of you. And also, the revenue is the highest. Once again, you can get a kickback of that revenue if you hold, and stake it, like I mentioned. And like I said, you look at all these stats, right? You look at all these stats and you realize that SushiSwap is one of the best, if not, the biggest right now, sort of in a way, decentralized finance project. And the valuation doesn't make sense, is what I'm saying, right? So I do think that SushiSwap will recover here, and it's going to be a pretty impressive and fun time either way. But please remember to be careful, because anything can happen in a project like this, especially after, all the recent drama and controversy. But with that being said, if you do want to buy SushiSwap, make sure to check out Binance. It's the easy exchange to get the Sushi token on, and it's the exchange that I use personally for all my trading. So link to Binance in the description of this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also check out my technical analysis master course, as well as my Twitter, Link to both those things in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe, everyone.